Yeah, welcome to this conversation. Let's look at the tribunal cases that they might cause problems. Let's start with the Lagos State government. Sorry, Lagos State Tribunal. What do you think about Sanwo-Olu be the winner of the election?
Thank you for having me, Mr. Christian. There won't be a problem in Lagos State. I think the opposition party understand they lost, they lost gallantly. So there's no issue for argument there. For Lagos State won, APC won fair and square. I think,
Fair and square.
yeah, they won fair and square. It was a fair and fair election. I mean, the violence was minimal. As a people, we understand that we've not gotten to that level of having a zero, a zero violence election. So, I mean, for Lagos State, it's a fair election. That's just my
Labour
take on
Party say they
that.
are going to over to the appeal court. Probably will get justice there.
Labour Party and PDP are wasting their time. And it's all unfortunate that they are not saying it. Well, if they want to go, they are free to go. I think that's their own, that's their right.
Okay, let's move on to Kano State.
Kano,
I
wow.
think a big a crisis will be we're
I
looking
think
at this crisis.
Kano happens to be the hot zone of this election tribunal cases. We saw how a representative of the NAPP came out and openly threatened the life of the judges. As a matter of fact, the judges could not pass this judgment in the court of law. They have to do it over the Zoom. That is to tell you the level of tension that we have in Kano State. I think the judges at the Supreme Court must, as a matter of urgency, see a need to balance things. And they must see things to verify all the judgment the Court of Appeal passed. Because it's important to understand that Kano is also the commercial nerves of the northern states, and is also we can say it's a metropolitan and a microcosm of Nigeria. If we may say, Kano is very important to the economy of Nigeria, and we cannot watch Kano to go into crisis for whatever reasons. So
Who are those causing the crisis? Is it the judiciary or the politicians?
well, for me, I think the politicians are always, they're always the arrowheads when it comes to all this political crisis. But also, I think people have lost faith in the rulings of the justices. All right. In this last election, so many emotions was actually invested, especially in Kano State. This young man, this Abba, in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, he won an election, but that election was overturned. Ganduje and Asiwaju had to travel down to Kano to go and beg him to please calm down and step down. So, as at then, there was a little bit of violence, but because of, he let that go. But at this time, I think it's going to look like beating twice shy. And I think his fans are not ready to listen to any, unreasonable judgment from the justices.
Why do you say unreasonable? Why do you say unreasonable?
Yes, I think the justices must ensure, because the Supreme Court, we know, is an institution of policy making, and they must ensure there's peace in the society, whatever judgment they want to pass. So if they feel APC won, they must do that evidently, and they must ensure that peace is sustained. All right. NMPP apparently and openly appears to be the one that has the biggest, amount of funds. We know they have a court followership, and in that judgment that was passed at the appeal court, we saw something. One of the statement of the justice that said the people of the red caps who are threatening our lives. The justices should understand that there's a way you coin your words that you don't inflame the polity of a state. Okay, as if we must be sincere with ourselves, Kano State today is in a dear state. And let me appeal to our southerners who are there. I beg of you guys, please and please, when this appeal session starts, please, I beg of you, I will appeal to you to go travel to a neighboring state, probably Kaduna, or you can get to Ilorin or whatever, what have you, because this, God forbid, if it doesn't favor an NPP, I think I smell crisis.
Okay, let's look at Zamfara State. There's a conflict between the state government and the federal government, meeting bandits behind the state government to probably talk to them on the killings and also the interests the deposit in that state as a matter of interest, I think it's causing crisis in that state.
In the issue of Zamfara, Dauda Lawal, who is the incumbent governor of that state, appears to be clueless to me. This is a well-accomplished banker. You know, when he was about to be sworn in, there was a rumor that he declared that he wants 9 billion, though he has come out to debunk it. This is a man who is a fully blown technocrat. The question we should ask ourselves is what are the technicalities he has employed or deployed to at least tackle insecurity in in some places. This kidnap happened in the capital. This kidnap happened in Gusau, Federal University of Gusau. It's a shame on the state government and the federal government. The federal government will, of course, try to negotiate even when they are trying to deploy kinetic means. All right? I mean, we have seen how the state will try to use that as a delayed tactics to try and probably get intelligence data through the calls they have with the terrorists. They can track the locations. They can do so many things. I think the Zamfara state governor who is saying that the federal government is negotiating, what has he brought to the table? This is a man who is supposed to be a technocrat. He's not supposed. He's a non-technocrat. He is an astute banker. He is a very rich guy, a very young one. Dauda Lawal. I could recall when he was being inaugurated, his wives were fighting that I will be the first lady. He has 2 wives. This is a man who has appeared to be a man who doesn't have a hold on his own. It's a shame that he is the governor of that state. It's a shame to me because I can see from his, from the little period he has spent, what are the significant measures he's taken. Don't let us forget, the state governors have absolute power over the land of their states. You can decide to clear the forest, move them, push them backwards. You could decide to build walls, build fence wire, and all that. You can decide to enact state security, bodies and empower them. You can decide to work in tandem with the Nigerian armies, just as Zulum is doing. Gusau, Zamfara is a well-endowed state with mineral resources. So it is expected for insecurity to abound. But he himself as a state governor must rise up to occasion.
Okay. And lastly, these are out of it. You advocate that men should do DNA to know the status of their children.
I must tell you that it is important. I think it should be one of the prerequisites before you take away your child from the hospital. I think it should be part of those requirements. When you give birth to a child, they tell you to conduct some tests like I think typhoid. You do some. I think there's this yellow fever and the likes. I think it should be part of it. The earlier, the better. The healthier your mental state remains. Because the man invests so much in the well-being of the child. Okay? And it is so disheartening and so heart-wrenching when, over a period of years, you discover that the child is not a child. It's a terrible state that no man should experience.
So who even determine DNA by resemblance?
Let me tell you something. When 2 people stay together for a period of time, especially when a child stays with you for a period of time, it tends to you tend to pass on your features into that child. It's as simple as that. A child will begin to copy whoever he stays with, whether his guardian or his parents, whether biological or not biological, over a period of time. Alright? I have seen where a child who is not the biological son of a father started exhibiting almost the same character because he grew up with the man and started talking like him. So those are part of the looks. Because some people, you look at your child, if you start acting like you believe, yes, this is my son. You start talking like you believe this is like yours, right? So I think the best means to really check, the pedigree and the paternity of the son is to actually do the DNA test.
Let's look at the havoc it's going to cause in the society, because in the society we live, there's so much to contend with.
Which bill? I didn't get that.
It's going to cause havoc to the society when eventually people start looking for their DNA, conducting DNA tests.
Well, you see, I think initially it's going to cause havoc, but I think over time everybody will just come out clean. That's just the truth. Everybody will eventually come out clean, especially the women. They will come out clean. We understand that the women happens to be the what, the custodians of false. Let me tell you, a woman can concede, she can concede a lie even when her life is even put on the line. When her life is put on the line, she can still concede a lie. So DNA test, when it becomes rampant, a woman will know that she has no choice than to say the truth. My dear, I'm sorry, this son is not your child.
And how will men take this now?
I think over time we'll grow the maturity. We are going to grow the thick skin, and I think we are going to go back to the old glory days of being an African man, of having multiple wives. And I think, I mean, it's a good,
are you advocating for such?
well, when you have the capacity, why not?
Okay.
That's my take.
Okay, thank you very much. Chief,
Yeah, electoral tribunal.
Tribunal yesterday. What's your take?
It's like to me the battle is more or less like Goliath, quote and unquote, Goliath and David. This time around, the Goliath is what's it called? No, let me say it's by girls or what's his name? Daddy Goliath is the Goliath that, because I can't place Sowolu as the place of Goliath. Is the, I mean, it is the, just let me say, is the David of our time, Abraham of our time, so the Goliath has been diminished because it's not only Gbadebo that is behind it's not only him that is behind the case. They are pushing the case. I can say general majority of the labor forces, Labour Party, they are behind him. So just I can say, I mean,
is that justice or a judgment?
That's from justice. From justice you get judgment, or from judgment you get justice.
So for you, is that justice or judgment?
It's a justice. Justice well done because it's the supreme parent court, or what you call it.
They struck out the case.
Yeah, it may be.
I don't see.
You see, one thing we fail to realize. Let's be serious this time around. What these judges have told them is, we don't want technicality. Majority of the cases they are taking to court are always on technicality, and what they really need is bring your evidence on the table. There's no judge that will see evidence clear, loud and clear, right, in his hand, that will be able to manipulate any judgment. Bring evidence, right? And so to happen at the tribunal, that's the presidential tribunal.
Yeah, you saw the evidence is brought by Labour Party.
All the evidence are just out of the way. Out of the way. What they're saying, they won election. Oh yeah, bring your collation sheets, everything that your own copy. They say INEC is with INEC. They could not get INEC, did not release it for them. So I mean, I think where the problem lies is you can't fight fingers that feeds you. What I mean, I'm just on quote and unquote, because INEC at least is the umpire of the election, and they ought to know that the INEC, they have to be diplomatic with INEC, but they were too harsh on the INEC. Nevertheless, the INEC too have their own malpractices, like that they turning of downloading of the result to IRF, and they could not get it done. They turned to manual, and what they promised Nigeria is going to be electronically. But later and the silence of Moshood, Professor Moshood, that is what people are reading on now. They are capitalizing on as a lacuna, that you are so silent, you could not even address the nation, that there's a hiccup, there's issues on the electronic system, right? The IRF issues that you cannot transmit.
You spend over 300 billion naira.
And you spend over 300 billion. And you postpone all this. So in Nigeria, as we be now, our way of life. I don't know how the day we're going to change. And that's why I always tell you that constitution that we are acting on, or we are working on now currently, is not a good constitution for a country to grow. So it's a deceptive constitution that we need to work on.
Let's look at Zamfara State. The governor has complained that the federal government going behind the state government to negotiate with bandits.
Yeah.
How do you look at that move?
You know what? The Zamfara guy himself, as a governor, he gave an order like 2 weeks ago that the police should come hard on those any illegal miner. Even if it's worth shooting them, they should get them shot or killed. So they are just depriving Zamfara people of their natural resources, stealing it with the illegal mining, and and not so long the government that this what's it called, the bandits. I don't know why they love, their fertile land. I don't know why their fertile land is always Zamfara. And the Matawale is a minister for defense as he is. So I don't know why he cannot stop those people.
It's a good choice from the president.
You say it's a good what?
Choice. The president said it's a good choice.
Why is that? You say I've made mention when they was appointed as a defense minister, because his home is boiling and his home is the most terrorized area. There's peace in Borno. There's a lot of peace.
24 students were abducted.
You can see
another 60.
That's why was abducted yesterday. That's why I'm saying now that the Zamfara has taken over the crisis of Borno, the crisis of Yobe, the crisis of Zamfara is in the eyes of the all people now. Say, okay, this is the most crisis ridden state we can talk of, because that area, one killing too many, one abduction too many, and there's a governor on the seat. How come the governor has no power with the security votes, to tame or to make them on the board?
The federal government going behind the state government to meet with the bandits. The only thing that is sabotage.
It may not be right. All over the world, there's a process of radicalization of criminals. That they say, okay, what are we putting on the table? Let us sit down and negotiate with them, for peace. And when we negotiating, we let them know there's carrot and stick process we are bringing on the table. So we give you the carrots. If you still continue with your atrocity, all this atrocity, we bring up the stick on you. So it's happened. We can negotiate with them and let them realize everything is not all about forces. Everything is not all about, is even your
why do it behind the back of the state government?
You see, that's when the politics.
That's disrespect.
That's where the politics comes in. Nigerian dirty politics we play. You are right. The state governor is a PDP man. Abbas, or what's it called? He's a PDP man, and where everybody is fighting for the party. There's their own stake of interest in that fallow land that is full of resources. So to me, it's a battle of who can be in control of those resources,
which is not supposed to be.
Which is not supposed to. And mind you, the way they are looking at it, we are practicing federalism, and federalism now. That governor said there's going to be a battle with it, that you have no rights. But his predecessors he did it and escaped it. You could remember that Matawale once extracted some gold from the Zamfara there, and he took it to Zenith, he took it to Central Bank and to exchange it for like 5 billion. So this one almost is trying to follow the tools of Matawale. So I think the government now is coming in that no, the federal is in custody of all the resources in Nigeria, which is not supposed to be. But the way Matawale scaled through it, what somebody else scaled through, you may find it difficult to. So that's what.
But let's talk about Kano State. There might be a huge crisis in that state if the appeal court or Supreme Court gives that judgment to either the NNPP or the APC.
I've seen the Kano, what the politicians are bringing up in Kano now, it's not encouraging. It's not even the way we all of us Westerners here know Kano for, right? Kano happens to be one of the most peaceful states in the in the northern region there. When you're talking of Kano, Kano is like the Lagos of the northern states, right? But the politicians there, they are the problem. And why are they the problem is, it's only one man that produced the successors that are giving him the problem now. What am I saying? The problem now is between Kwankwaso and Ganduje. And you know, Ganduje was a product of Kwankwaso. And Kwankwaso himself was a product of, what's it called? There's still one of them like that. That one has lie low. So it has been a power tussle in Kano because the crowd is there. The electoral crowd is there. The voters crowd is there. And all of them, they are fighting for, they are fighting for their own pieces of, crowd they can, gathered, and they can be in control of them for political issues. And, as it is now, and when two elephants start fighting, the grass will always suffer. I think they should all come together because they've been wrong before. Ganduje and what's it called? What's this guy called?
They're in different parties.
No, they were in the same party before.
No, they're in different parties.
What's it called? What's that one? Kwankwaso was once in APC. When he saw that there was no future for him in APC, he crossed.
He was once in PDP.
He was once in PDP to APC. You can verify that from PDP to APC, and still you can just remember that he was even looking for a coalition to be part of the coalition government that the Tinubu formed. That he went to meet him, maybe it can be accommodated within the circle, but they ignored him because Tinubu believed that the two sheep and the two cattle cannot be in the sheep, which is Ganduje as the chairman of APC, while Kwankwaso being,
This is a bonus question. Is that of politics?
Okay.
Concerning the Mohbad case.
Yeah.
You support DNA? Men should start doing DNA for their children.
I will really support because I think if we can have that one on the table, most men will have rest of mind because they won't be doubting Thomas's. Like me, at times I look at my wife when she starts misbehaving. Are you sure all these children? Because if you're sure that you give back to all these children for me, you will be more respectful. The Nigerian women, I don't know whether it's the way we take marriage in this our local space here. Is maybe that's what the women are really having more chances over men. Because when you look at all the pressures as of men, when you look at the death rate now of couples now, you have more men that have gone down the underground, than women. And
that DNA will cause wahala.
It will cause a lot of wahala. Look at what happened between that former MD of what's it called? One bank, sorry to say, one bank like that, and one of his worker. You could see until they did the DNA, and that DNA, when the result came out, he landed that's his husband in the hospital, and that one led to stroke that killed the guy. So to me, I don't know. You see, the most dangerous people to dare in life are women. I've been born by a woman, but I have to tell you the truth. Women, they can keep secrets for years. Men cannot keep secrets. Men are too loose. It may be better except politicians. Except politicians, you see have one or two things that they will reveal to their cronies. Their cronies, when fight comes, they will throw it out. So give it to those women. Those women can keep secrets. They'll be killing you silently, and they'll be keeping it silently. So to me,
Mr. Kule supports DNA.
I support DNA. Let all men. Me, I want to do that. I prefer to do DNA if it is affordable for me. If DNA is affordable, I can bet. I can say it for free. 90% of Nigerians, fathers, we want to do DNA because all our women,
Thank you very much, Mr.